Who's ready for a stormy night part 2? What's going on, guys? The meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. In this video, we're going to talk about another unsettled evening. We've been talking about this in the last couple of videos. We were going to have this very wet stretch to a lot of the state of Florida that happens again tonight with the highest rain chances coming again in the evening. That theme is going to be common over the next several days. We'll go over the forecast for your Wednesday, September 27th as well for North, Central, and South Florida. And then we're going to talk about the tropics. Phillipe is doing some weird things out there, and it looks like it might try to come further west. It would be weak, but one model in particular has it getting close to Florida. We're going to break that down. I'm going to talk about that in just 1 second. First, though, I want to show you future radar. And before we get into this video, if you do want to stay updated on all things Florida weather, and especially as we venture through the rest of hurricane season, please hit subscribe. We'd love to have you on board. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you happen to find this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It does help us out a lot. There's 4 o'clock. Look at all the storms around. It gets even higher coverage through 6, 7 o'clock for you. Again, right on down the spine of the Florida Peninsula, and then it continues late. This is 9 o'clock. We still have scattered showers around the Orlando area, certainly through Jacksonville, St. Augustine. So if you take the dog out in the evening, any free time you get in between showers, again, watch the lightning, and then if you can hear the thunder, you're close enough to be struck, so don't do it then. But if there's a nice little break in the action, and there may be, that's your opportunity to kind of get the dog out again. It's going to be one of those nights, and it's going to be one of these nights for the next few evenings in Florida, where if you need to get the dog out before you go to bed, again, be opportunistic. Watch the radar, and you can do that by downloading the free Pinpoint Weather app. Just search WKMG in your app store. You can have your location services turned on, and you can show you your nice blue dot where the radar is, and then just do a little dodging. A lot of rain coming our way over the next few days. 1 to 3 inches conservatively as we go from the rest of Tuesday into Friday. Some of these thunderstorms can produce this amount of rain in one sitting. So again, this is a widespread scale. We talked about likely from yesterday to Friday about 3 to 5 inches. And again, that looks like it's holding true with those isolated higher amounts if you get stuck under one of those slow-moving thunderstorms for a short amount of time, or for a long amount of time, I should say. Here's the water vapor imagery. This tells the story. Look at all these blues, oranges, and purples all down in here. That is a big surge of tropical moisture. There's a dip in the jet stream right here. You see that that orange color? That is some drier air. We also have a little bit of spin out here. There's a little upper low, and then we have an area of high pressure hanging right here. All of these systems combined are funneling up that tropical moisture right on into Florida. And then with the heating of the day, we generate the sea breeze, and then we just have a whole mess going on in terms of thunderstorms covering a lot of the state of Florida. Now, as I'll show you in the Florida forecast coming up in the Pinpoint forecast, the one kind of lone drier area of Florida over the next few days is going to be right in here, right on through the Panhandle. Let me get my different color of telestration out and clear that. It's going to be right in here because we are going to be under the influence of this drier air that's now moving through Houston, parts of Louisiana, and into Mississippi as well. So that is coming for us. And without further ado, here is the Pinpoint forecast for North Florida. You see, rain chances tomorrow still elevated. 40% shot in Pensacola, 60% shot in Panama, Bonifay, 60% chance. As we get into Thursday and Friday, those will come down a little bit, but you see still very high rain chances through Gainesville, St. Augustine, Cedar Key. Hope everybody is doing well in the Big Bend. Through Central Florida, sky-high rain chances. Look at that. 70, 80% shot. And a lot of this, again, a lot of the day is on the dry side. It's not like an all-day rain. The rain chance means when you step outside, at any point, you're going to have an 80% shot to get wet that day. An 8 out of 10 chance, okay? That doesn't mean it's going to rain all day. And we showed you with future radar, again, that most of the rain chances build in the afternoon and then really in the evening. So it's important to note that the rain chances don't necessarily mean that it's going to rain all day. It just means that you're likely going to get wet at some point of the day at a 70 to 80% clip. South Florida, what's going on? Fort Lauderdale, 70% shot for storms on your Wednesday, 9/27, September 27th. Key West, elevated rain chances through Belglade, Sarasota, Bradenton. We could use the rain on the Gulf side, and I think we have more coming. Tropical update. Okay, this is where things get a little weird. Here's the infrared satellite again. That shows kind of what I just showed you with the water vapor, all that moisture surging in. That's Invest 91L, likely to become the next depression over the next few days. This is Phillipe. It's very weak. But because it's weak, it is kind of defying the forecast and kind of defying the modeling. So I first want to show you the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. Again, very weak system. And I want to be clear about that. Even though it's coming west, I don't want to be like, it's coming west. It's going to be on the weak side, okay? And don't let anybody else on the social webs tell you otherwise. Here again, the latest forecast from Tropical Storm Phillipe. This is from the National Hurricane Center. A 30-mile-per-hour storm near the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. And then, note that we just have the L's. This icon here represents tropical depression. It loses its tropical characteristics as it gets kind of parallel with Puerto Rico. We could use the rain in the Virgin Islands and through Puerto Rico and the Northeast Caribbean in general. And I think we're going to get some rain out of this now. And it's going to come further west and likely impact the Turks and Caicos and likely the northern side of the Dominican Republic. Again, very weak, but still something to monitor, something to be mindful of. These are the latest models. And again, if you were watching yesterday's video, the GFS and its ensembles had this thing like way out here. Look at the purple line. That's the GFS. This other purple line is the GFS ensembles out here. So there's the ensembles. That's all those different initial conditions put in, and then the mean of that right there. There you go with the GFS itself kind of curving to the west. The Canadian goes out further, so that's why we're kind of seeing that go up a little bit. But we do have the grouping in here now. I want to show you the European model. This is actually first, and this is going to be the models for Invest 91L. It kind of does the same thing. So again, something to watch. Yesterday was like that. Now we have the grouping of modeling coming closer to the Caribbean islands. So something to watch. The steering pattern is not well defined, and when you have weak systems in a non-well defined steering area like what we have, things get a little weird. So here's the Euro model. This is what I really wanted to show you here. This bright red ball here, that is Phillipe. This other bright red ball, that is Invest 91L. That was the 26th of September. Note that we lose some of the red here. It's a weak system. By September 30th, hanging around Puerto Rico, likely giving us some rain. It continues to come in like a bowling ball towards the Turks and Caicos as a very weak system. Note Phillipe right here. Remember, most of the models here, the European does not have a spaghetti plot, so you'll never see it on one of those spaghetti plots like I just showed you. Most of those models had it coming out here. Okay? So just keep that in mind as we roll through this area. It's not doing that. This could continue to come a little further west, so it's something we're going to keep our eyes on. This is still way out there on October 2nd. Note that cold front right there. That was supposed to be way out for Phillipe, but that dip in the jet stream, number one, because it was slower and weak, kind of yanks it back in this direction. And now, since it's been slow, this area of high pressure that's moving off the northeast United States is going to have a tendency to bring winds out of the northeast and maybe force it a little further to the west. Still likely a weak system, but you see the weird thing about it. Now we have this kind of, it's getting tugged back into the coast by that little upper low that's there toward Florida, toward Georgia, toward the Carolinas. So it's something to watch. The European, again, it's suggesting it. The European reliable track model, so it gets your, it's something to watch. We're going to keep our eyes on it, of course. Now, further down the line, the GFS also wants to suggest that we are going to have some tropical development, or at least potential tropical development, off the Gulf Coast of Florida on the 5th or 6th, right off the corner, off that cold front. So it's like kind of the opposite. It develops its own thing there. So that's also something to watch. Again, that's 8, 9, 10, 11 days away. So there's still a lot of time and a lot of things to iron out. Again, if what's left of Phillipe comes its way, it's likely going to be weak. But certainly when you see that giant ball of red there, you watch it closely because it's going to likely be a larger non-tropical system if the Euro is correct. And we're going to watch that closely there. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you want to stay updated on all things weather as we venture through the rest of hurricane season, and especially what could be a pretty active winter in terms of clouds and rain and cooler weather, you have to hit subscribe and you come to the right place. Please do that, and we will catch you next time.